Okay, going to go through explanation here of homework number 8. I'm sorry, yeah, homework number 8, question number 10. I've had a few students asking me about how to do the derivative here. Here we've got the function that we're trying to take the derivative of right in here. And what we want to recognize is that this is actually the product of two individual functions. So you can look at this f of x as being our f, and then the entire x cubed plus 1 to the 8th is our g. Now we're going to remember the rule here that anytime we're taking the derivative of two functions being multiplied together, what we do is we take the derivative of the first function times the second function plus the derivative of the second function times the first function. That's the product rule. Now I do some slightly different notation. Instead of writing this whole thing d dx of f of x, I just write f with the little prime mark on it. That's what we call it, the prime. That means the derivative. So this is, again, the derivative of f times g plus the derivative of g times f. So what we need to do is take our f and our g over here, find their derivatives. So the first function, f of x. All right, here it is. Take the derivative. The derivative of 5x is just 5, and that's because, and I'll write it here on the side, if you have a constant times x, the derivative of that will always just be the constant. So that's why we just get the 5 there. Now on the g function, this is a little bit more difficult. When we're trying to take the derivative here, we have to use the chain rule. So chain rule says if we have something, which I'm highlighting in pink, something raised to the 8th power here, that the derivative is going to be the 8 will come out in front, then you'll have that same something, that pink thing, but now you subtract 1 from the power, so you get a 7 up here. And that's basically using this rule. I'll write it on the side. It's basically the power rule, that if you have the derivative of something to a power, power comes out, power goes down by 1. The thing is, what's inside here is not x, it's that entire x cubed plus 1. But chain rule then says once you've taken care of the power, the 8th power, now you need to actually take the derivative of the pink thing. And the derivative of x cubed plus 1 is just going to give us the 3x squared. And I'll do that on the side also. X cubed, this will work. X cubed plus 1. When you take derivative, you do each one individually. So we'll do the easy one first. Derivative of 1 is 0, because derivative of a constant is always 0. And then on x cubed, we use the power rule. So the 3 comes out, we reduce the power by 1. So that's what gave us over here in blue this thing right here. Okay, now I'm going to multiply 3 times 8 gives me 24, and I put the x squared here from here in front, and then I've got that x cubed plus 1 all to the 7th. So now we know the derivative of f and the derivative of g. Now we need to just put everything into the formula. So remember, this is derivative of f, here's g, plus the derivative of g is all of this we just found, and then at the end f. Now let's multiply some things out. 24x squared times 5x gives us 120x cubed. So I just move that out in front. I still have this here. Over here there's nothing, I do. And now we're going to do some factoring. So this is a little tricky. Let me get rid of some of this stuff. What I notice is that I'm looking at these two terms right here. This and this. And I'm trying to say, what do they have in common? Well, 5 goes into both of these. 5 goes into 5, 5 goes into 120, so I can pull a 5 out. I can actually look at this x cubed plus 1. I have 8 of them here, and I have x cubed plus 1 here. I have 7 of them here. So what they have in common is 7 factors. So I can pull out 7 of those. So here's my 5 I pulled out. Here's those 7 that I pulled out. Now, when I pull out 5 from this first term here, the 5 won't need to be there anymore. And when I pull out 7 of these, I'll be left with just 1 of them. So that's why I have here just this piece. That's what you get when you pull all this 5x cubed plus 1 to the 7 out of the first term. Then the plus sign. Now when I pull 5 away from 120, I'm left with 24. And then the x cubed, I didn't pull out any x's by themselves, so I have to leave the x cubed. And then this x cubed plus 1 to the 7th, I actually pulled out all 7 of those, so I'm not going to put anything over here. And then we put the x cubed here, I'll highlight it. The x cubed here plus 24x cubed is 25x cubed. Then I've got my plus 1 there. And then the front here I had my common factor that I pulled out of both. And that is the answer. Hope that helps.